Alright, so a video surfaced of Micheal Clemons telling Browns fans F you, which seems like a pretty, let's just say it's a belligerent thing to do. Is he good enough to back up essentially abusing the opposing team's fans? Micheal Clemons, I'm not sure about his background. When did he enter the league? 2022. Right. Went to Texas A&M. And he's been getting some decent defensive snaps. And it looks like he's been playing on he's playing on the edge here. So we're probably gonna have to access a few videos just because he's getting about. He's a rotational defensive lineman. He's not like one of the top guys, but he's in the rotation. So why is he talking so much smack if he's just a rotational player, man? Come on. Anyway, let's see if he's good enough to back up this shit talking just fellow human beings. Alright, so on the edge. Alright, so I love a defensive lineman who's not just brawn but is also brains. So 2nd and 11. If I was a D lineman, I'd probably think that a run play is kind of likely. But considering they got a receiver in line, maybe I would be thinking that, okay, they could be passing it here. Because having a receiver in line to block a 270-pound D end, probably not the smartest thing to do. Anyways, so the ball is snapped and there is a play action which does draw Clemons in from this point, and now he's got to beat his blocker and an offensive lineman. So a bit of a tall order, perhaps, and does a good job to at least get in Flacco, the quarterback's field of vision. But Flacco still has enough time to make this throw. So Clemons gets subbed out. So there's going to be a little bit of waiting, guys, just to figure out, just find where Clemons is on the field next. He's really not getting many snaps, is he? Oh, I think he plays some special teams. Okay, here he is, hand in the dirt again, on the edge. So 2nd and 6. Highly likely that it's a run, I would say. As a DN, you've got to worry about the tight end chipping. You don't want to get blindsided. He's got 2 tight ends and a left tackle at least to deal with, most likely, initially. If it was me, he's out so wide that as a defensive end, if you trust your linebackers to cover the gap in case there's a run play, to heighten your chance of getting into the backfield, I'd probably circle, like stunt inwards and attack maybe like the center. Let's see if he has any sort of pre-snap recognition there. No, he goes straight forward and he's just out of the play immediately. I feel like, okay, so if he had have committed to coming inside, what would have been the after effects? So if he's attacking here, then the blockers have to address that, and that shifts the offensive line to the right, which frees up space for the linebackers to get into the backfield, right? So there's less blockers to the left. But instead, Clemons goes straight ahead, and that actually makes the offensive lineman's job easier because they know exactly where he is. And like, he's past the play already. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers against 1, 2, 3 Jets D linemen. So there's a potential big play on the run here. And they get the first down. So let's see if Clemons... So essentially Clemons I don't think has advanced pre-snap recognition, just based on a couple of snaps I've seen so far. Let's see if he's a hustler. Alright, so he can't really efficiently beat a blocking tight end. Does he hustle to the ball afterwards? Yeah, not bad. Not bad effort. Alright, here's another snap from him. Alright. Okay, so again, 1st and 5. Out wide again. He's got to worry about this player who's coming in on a potential sweep. Has decent hand placement. Standing up this left tackle. Immediately gets double teamed, so not much he can do there. So he's kind of pretty much out of the play. So not much to see there, I don't think. Okay. So here's a pure pass rush. 2nd and 7. Still be wary of the run. I would definitely just straight up attack the left guard here. So the ball is snapped. And he does attack towards the left shoulder of the guard, which is good. And absorbs some blocking attention so that his teammate can go to work. Keeps the play in front of him, so that's good. But all of these plays happen so fast. It's hard to. You need a lot of snaps, I think, to get a good judge of a player. Alright. I'll just look up, I'll show you the video as to why I'm even paying attention to Clemons. I think I can turn audio on here. Alright, so he's pointing out Browns fans saying, fuck you. So, you know, like, why isn't this dude focusing on the game? Why is he focusing on the fans? And I don't want to be an armchair psychologist, but like, these Jets players are just milling around having a good time. I'm not sure when during the game this is, but just focus on the game. Focus on why you're there. The only reason why you're on the field and you're in a position to talk shit to people is because of your play, apparently. And from what I've seen from Clemons, he's just not good enough to be talking this much shit. Like, I would only feel comfortable, personally, as a pro athlete, talking shit to the opponent's fans if they'd been giving you hell and you're up by like 30 points with like 5 minutes to go, right? So what's all this about? You're losing, brother. How is the coaching staff not getting on top of this, saying, bro, don't carry on like this? This is a bad look for the organization. So this is why I'm having a look at Clemons is like, who does he think he is doing this? He's a rotational player, bro. So we'll look at a week 15 where he's had 22 snaps. But, you know, my grade on Clemons is not looking good. Seems like a big, strong-looking athlete who doesn't really know what he's doing, frankly. .72 here. 3rd and goal. If it was me, I'd just collapse in on the center because that's the most where the run is most likely to go. And again, it's just like, as a D lineman, I think you've just got to focus in on where the easiest yardage is going to come from and trust the guys behind you to mop up outside. So collapse in, but he immediately goes outside, and don't be surprised if this rush goes straight through the middle successfully, or outside, whatever, if there's poor contain. Look at all these guys. Derp! Yeah, just get sucked in. But from Clemons' point of view, I'm not sure there's all that much to see. Alright, Clemons outside again, 2nd and 7. So this is where an empty set, where there's no running back in. This is Clemons' time to shine as a pass rusher, where it's like, okay, if I get outside and free myself from the guard, I'm going to have a one-on-one opportunity with the tackle to get after this quarterback. And if you know Tua Tagovailoa, he's a huge fumble risk. So you should be licking your chops. This is where you can earn some big bucks making a play here. So Clemons. Okay, so pre-snap, what would I be thinking? Okay, so there's a bit of movement, so you've got to think quickly. But essentially, and again, unfortunately, Clemons isn't showing enough recognition of what's going on as far as the formation, because this receiver could light him up, chipping him. Personally, I think Clemons spends a lot of time with his hands in the dirt, and I would probably be standing up in this situation, because it's not like you've got to... I feel like you should start off with your hand in the dirt if you think that you've got to use leverage to stop a run. I would stand up here so that I'm less likely to get blown up by the receiver here on a block, and then kind of just gauge where you should be rushing. Because if it's definitely going to be a pass play, you're more likely to get to the quarterback if you actually go inside and confuse the defensive line. And then if you've got smart defensive linemen playing with you, they can go off of what you're doing and they could be stunting as well. So for starters, I don't think Clemons' stance here is all that intelligent. But anyway, he stands up. And if this is Teron Armstead's one of the better tackles in the league, so it's a tall order for Clemons to get past him. And yeah, Clemons shows some good strength initially. Puts a little bit of pressure on Tua. So Clemons has definitely got a good strength and decent hand placement. See, there's Jermaine Johnson's standing up to start, which on 3rd and 15 makes sense. But look, I would probably, even though coaches might say don't do this, if I was him, I would just mess with the offensive line and just stand up here. Like, you'll see a player named Dorrance Armstrong do this for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure whether he's told to do it by the coaching staff, but he'll just, as a D end, he'll just stand up in like the A or B gap just to F with the defensive line, and that can wreak a lot of havoc just purely by like pre-snap positioning. Oh, has there been audio coming through this whole time? I don't know. All right, we'll have a couple more looks at Clemons, I think, and then we'll make a verdict on him. Is that him there? Yeah. First and goal. I mean, not much you can do as a defensive tackle to tell what your teammates should be doing, but they should just be focusing. They should have two more guys along this defensive line with their hand in the dirt, because it's first and goal. This is where standing up is actually not a good idea, I think. Go in the hand in the dirt and just collapse in on the offensive line and have your other guys fill in the gaps. Okay, so here Clemons needs to, okay, the ball's going out wide. He needs to disengage and circle around to try and make a play on the edge. But instead, he's just in the backfield and he's completely out of the play. So I'm pretty sick of looking at Clemons now. I'd probably pay him about $4 million a year, just purely because he can stand blockers up. Doesn't seem like he's got an advanced pass rushing skill set, and his pre-snap recognition of or pass rush game plan just doesn't seem to be where he's at. So I think there's some cultural problems in the Jets locker room where a guy like Clemons is allowed to talk shit to the Browns fans when he's not a big time player for the Jets, and that's reflected in his snap count, and also just is he making plays? It's absurd. And unfortunately, the Jets let Nathan Shepard go, who was their dude on the D-line, and they've paid Quinnen Williams, who was, a high draft pick. But Nathan Shepard, if you look at my Nathan Shepard video, which will be somewhere down below, you'll see that Shep is a way more impactful player than Quinnen Williams. So the Jets have just got some personnel evaluation issues and some cultural issues if they're allowing Clemons to talk shit in a loss when he's a no-name player relative to some of the other guys. So that's my view. Thanks.